This evening, everyone's been talking about it. Could treatment, could rehab have saved Whitney Houston's life? But many people, when they have this conversation, don't really even know what they're talking about. They don't know what goes on inside a rehabilitation facility and how treatment really works. Now, if someone you know is addicted, what kind of help do they need? How do you know if they're getting the right kind of help? And how do you know if a facility is doing what it needs to do? Take a look at this.
I gotta do something. There's no way to live. I'm afraid, I was gonna die accidentally because of the heroin.
Inside a day in the life of an addict in rehab. Most people know me from my role on VH1 Celebrity Rehab.
The people heal in close connection with others, in experiences, emotional experiences that are shared.
The Pasadena Recovery Center is a real treatment facility. Celebrities get real treatment, not special treatment. The hardest part of treating a celebrity like Whitney Houston, whose most recent treatment was last May, is that it's hard to keep them in treatment. Celebrities want to go back to their lives, back on tour, back to making money, and of course the people around them don't want to lose any money. Treatment is delicate. Patients are fragile. You need to be focused on nothing else but your recovery. I talked with a recovering addict, boxer Oscar De La Hoya, about just that.
You have to work at it. It's a job. I mean, if you want to keep your job, you have to work.
Dear God! Nurse!
The intense part you see on TV is just the beginning of the process. Detox is the first thing to do in rehab. Doctors give addicts medication to counter the effects the body goes through after drugs have left the system. When someone quits drugs cold turkey, the body goes into a kind of shock, and it can sometimes be fatal. As miserable as detox is, it's actually the easiest part of the treatment process. The hardest part is staying sober. Structure is extremely important in a rehab facility. Each patient has a strict schedule. It looks something like this. Get up at 7:30, eat, morning meditation, group process therapy, lunch, afternoon one-on-one with therapists and doctors, psychoeducation lectures, and other sorts of therapy and outings. Patients participate in the 12-step program each and every day after dinner. 12-step teaches addicts that there is a higher power than themselves in their life. The power doesn't have to be God necessarily, it can be anything. It tells addicts they have to give up control and just have faith. To be successful, a recovering addict must attend 12-step meetings every day and contact their sponsor daily, potentially for the rest of their lives, just the way a diabetic must take insulin or an asthmatic must take inhalers. Rehab is not the end of the road, it is the beginning. Straight now to my guest to discuss this, Shelley Sprague. She was our resident technician on VH1 Celebrity Rehab. She herself, recovering addict. Also joined by Andy Dick, who is in recovery and has been rehab multiple times. And Andy, that's what I want to talk about. It's people look at rehab and go, oh, you had to go so many times. It didn't work.
Multiple times, 12.
12 times.
Exact, 12 times.
Okay.
Proud of it. Look, getting sober is easy. I've done it 1,000 times. That's just a joke I do. What you said, it didn't work?
Well,
Is that what you
people
said?
who don't understand treatment will look at that and go, oh, you see, treatment doesn't really work.
Well, it does. Look, the first time, and once again, 12 times for me, the very first time years ago, I think 15 years ago, I don't think there was any other choice for me. I needed to go to a safe place. I remember I was just thinking about yesterday, I was thinking about how I took a chair and tried to throw it through a window, and I guess they have this bulletproof glass, and it just bounced off, and I looked like an idiot.
I tried to jump through the window in one of my rehabs.
When you were treated?
Did you bounce off it?
I did. My head was like...
How many times were you treated?
3.
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
And it finally stopped.
And then you had, was that include the relapse after surgery that one time?
That did not, I did not go back to rehab after that.
But you had to get
but
back on.
I had 15 months.
By then, probably the program helps, right? That's
Well, I had tried to go to the program before I went to rehab. So when I went to rehab, the first time I went to rehab, I had no idea what they were talking about. I was not interested. I only wanted to get off of heroin and crack. Everything else was fine.
Alcohol's fine, pot's fine, all fine.
Pills, everything. I was just heroin and crack are the
fine.
problem, and if I can get off these things, and I'm sure they told me that's not going to work, but I couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
Because there was no way I could conceive of a life without doing substances. There was just no possible way.
And that's the hard part about treatment, is that, when you're in treatment, we're trying to reach people who don't want to hear. They're in denial of some sort or another. We're trying to enroll...
the biggest symptom.
This denial. That's right. We're trying to get them to give into the process. And really, I look at treatment as just making sobriety possible.
Yeah.
Dealing with the medical problems, dealing with the psychiatric problems, getting you sober, getting you structured, getting your life in order, and then going into the treatment.
And it's always there. And then the aftercare.
Aftercare is crucial.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, Andy.
I was going to say I ran into an old friend that I got sober with 12 years ago. We got sober. I had 2.5 years because I was working a very good program. I was talking to my sponsor. I was doing the work, and I mean on a daily basis. 2.5 years. You know, we always have an excuse why we go back out and start drinking again. Doesn't even matter. It could be a rainy day, a sunny day, doesn't matter. But I ran into her. She's still sober. I would have 12 years today, but I don't. And I started crying, and she said, don't worry. And she pointed out that, look, it was always here. The love was always here. The support was always here. I just didn't let it in. You've always said, I remember for years I've said, Dr. Drew, do you think I'm an alcoholic, really? And that's what he would do. He would laugh in my face. It took me years to, I think I have finally...
Now you've got stereo laughing going on.
Both laughing. I admit that I'm an alcoholic. And, you know, the whole part that it's a disease I have trouble with.
Still?
Well, because it doesn't feel like a disease. I get that when I drink, it ain't no good. I know that. And also, because I heard somebody say this, it's the powerlessness over alcohol I sometimes have a problem with. But the thing is that I have to admit that, because if I don't do the work, like what you guys have been telling me for years and years, if I'm not doing that work, I know I will drink again.
Absolutely.
And that way I am
me
powerless.
too. No matter how much
you're going to go
time,
straight to the crack, baby.
I'm done. No matter how much time you have, you only have today. And if you don't understand that, you will get lulled into a false sense of denial.
And the disease part is that you're talking about is your thinking. You'll start thinking. Now, the reason
alcohol
you start...
is the medicine.
I understand, but
No,
I've heard you say that, by the way.
That's
don't think.
But do you know what I mean? Don't think. It's not...
Don't think.
Yeah, give in. Don't think. And because
No,
the thinking
exactly.
is a reflection of the disordered motivation in the brain. Let me talk about celebrities for a second. One thing I said in that rolled in piece was that celebrities are always... Oscar De La Hoya talked yesterday on this program about how fragile you are in that beginning part of recovery, as opposed to what celebrities do is go back to work, so that fragility never emerges and grows.
Yeah.
Can you relate to that?
Yeah. I have adopted a new thing also. This is the first time I've done this, where my number one job is to stay sober.
Perfect.
Now, I forgot that I actually have a movie out that I was supposed to promote.
Bring it up.
Division III Football's Finest. It's very fun. It's going to be
very
on
fun.
Netflix.
I've heard nothing but great things. I'm sorry I missed the premiere.
No, that's okay. But I forgot that I have the movie out, because I'm here to talk about my sobriety and to talk and Whitney. I thought we were going to talk about Whitney.
Well, what about Whitney? What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, my son's coming on the show in a little bit, and I thought that we might be able to shed some light, because we have a father-son relationship. I don't know what we can do, but, you know, my thoughts are...
Yeah, what went through your mind when you heard that she died?
My thoughts are, oh, no, everyone around me is going to freak out.
Because they're figuring you're
Because
next.
I'm a celebrity, too. And, you know, I get tweets like, how did Andy Dick outlive Whitney? You know, that's what I get.
How do you feel about that?
It pisses me off.
Do you think that's realistic?
Oh, yeah.
You could die.
Of course.
Shelley, think you could die of his addiction?
Absolutely.
Of course. I should be dead 9 or 10 times over.
But you're saying that in a
I'm
very
a
detached... Dude, you're saying that in a very detached way.
No. It's very serious. It
is
really
very
is.
serious.
And why do you think I do what I do every day? You didn't know. I have not been telling you how well I'm doing, because, you know, we've been through the ringer. We've been revolving door ring it.
You're sober today. I'm grateful for that.
And I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Today.
But I'm glad you're not like Whitney. But then Shelley could be like Whitney, too.
Absolutely.
Easily.
Prescription drugs in America, I could go down like this. One doctor, one prescription, I could be right where I was. I could be overdosed. I could be any of those things.
Just going in saying I can't sleep.
Absolutely.
I've got a plane flight. My back hurts. I've got a headache.
You know how many
It'd be that
times
easy.
I'm laying in bed,
Absolutely.
tossing and turning, going, you know, a sleeping pill would be
just need-
very nice right now.
Absolutely.
No, I toss and turn, I sweat, I fret, and I just pick up the phone, I start calling people.
Yeah, I write, I read.
I write.
Bill Maher
I
the
read.
other
I was
night-
reading the big one.
Bill Maher, when I was his show the other night, felt that sleeplessness was the #1 trigger.
It
You guys-
is.
It's
Oh,
certainly
it's
one.
incredible.
I don't
It is
sleep well.